Gentlemen, welcome to Collect This. This is episode number 3. We are actually doing this live on twitch.tv, and then we will be transferring this video to our YouTube channel where we have episode number 1 and 2 with Super Mario Punch and Experimental. EA512 and myself have known each other since childhood. We have known each other for a very long time. I saw this man grow from a kid to an adult. We used to play video games together. We played games from like just random games like Halo, fucking DDR. We played Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles together. I mean, we played so many just different variety of games every time. It was always a lot of fun. It's really good to have you on the stream, EA512, and not just on the stream but on this podcast. EA512, welcome. How are we doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me. Much appreciated. Glad to be here. Very happy to be here.
Now, EA512, I asked this question every single stream or every single podcast. It's going to be weird not to call it the stream. What do you like to collect?
It's really hard right now because I don't really collect anything. But I was thinking about this because I know you asked this, and I guess now I could say I've recently started to collect wrestling autographs and just wrestling T-shirts also because of course I'm a huge wrestling fan. We all know this, so that's definitely something. I used to have like every single wrestling toy as well, and I used to have a massive Pokemon card collection, but unfortunately all those are gone now. So now I'm
Ugh.
starting to build up my autograph collections and things like that. So
Okay, then let me ask you two things. And this is gonna be both the shirts and the wrestling stuff, and probably the Pokemon cards. We'll touch on that in a second because that might be a touchy subject. On the wrestling autographs, what is your favorite, and what is your most potential valuable autograph wrestling wise?
they're really one and the same. Right now, my favorite and the one that I think has the most potential is a Sammy Guevara autograph. I got it. I met him. He came here. It was his last indie show before he signed with All Elite Wrestling. So it was like his last show was here on a Friday night, and then he debuted. He had his first match. In fact, it was the first match of All Elite Wrestling on TV against Cody the following Wednesday. So I got that autograph like at the last possible second before he went big time.
Nice, dude. That's pretty dope. I mean, it's crazy because I've met Sammy a bunch of times. Because Sammy used to wrestle in Corpus Christi a lot, and me and EA512, obviously, we come from Corpus Christi, Texas. He was actually a byproduct of like some I guess indie wrestling companies that exist down there, and he would wrestle in the bingo halls every weekend. He went from the bingo halls to AEW now, and he is doing a fantastic job. That's a dope ass autograph to have, man. And I'm sad that I never got one because I bet him like a bunch of times. As a matter of fact, it's crazy. Like I'm pretty sure you have stories like this as well, but we'll talk about it a little bit. But let's go to the shirts before we talk about that crazy story of Sammy Guevara and all the indie wrestling in Corpus Christi. What is your favorite T-shirt, and I guess what's your most valuable T-shirt? Because T-shirts actually have value, especially the old ones.
I wish I had some of my old ones because I did have like some of the original like Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts, because I was getting them of course as he was making his rise through the company, and I had quite a few of them. I had a bunch of the Rocks t-shirts too, but they were all youth size at that time. I was still a little young kid, so I don't have any of those anymore. But I would say now my most valuable shirt is probably the one where, okay, because you know how in a Super Bowl or an NBA championship you have the team that wins, they come out with the winning team's championship gear, and then the joke is they send the shirts to like needy countries of the losing team, right? Well, I have a shirt that was of the losing team, which was the Inner Circle. They lost this huge match. It was called the Stadium Stampede match. It was on I forget what pay per view it was, but anyway, it was this huge match, and they lost. And they printed up shirts thinking they were gonna win, and they sold them anyway. And I got one. So that's probably one of the more valuable ones that I have.
My favorite part of that shirt is that that shirt was actually really cheap. Uh,
Yeah,
they
it was
sold
like
it.
half off.
Yeah, they sold it for 12.50. So AEW shirts usually sell for 25. I have that shirt. I had to have it. I was like, oh, bro, this is the most
Exactly.
genius idea. Like, I had to buy that AEW shirt, and I have that one for sure in my collection. That shirt is so fucking great. I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good
It,
shirt to have.
I'm not sure the actual value, like cash wise, it has because it was, a half off deal and all that. But to me, I think that's like one of the more unique shirts that have come out since, or in a long time, really.
I agree. I agree with you. Uh, I guess we talked a little bit about wrestling figures. I love collecting wrestling figures. I definitely have some wrestling memorabilia too. Like, I have a lot of good autographs. I have I don't think I have any of my old shirts, but I have like in middle school I had like this Shawn Michaels shirt that I loved. In middle school I also got in trouble for wearing a DX 69 shirt. It had like 69 in the back. It was like a number 69. They made me like flip up the shirt, and I couldn't wear the shirt. Like, I had to wear my shirt in reverse. Oh, don't worry about your dog. You're good, EA. You're good. Don't worry about your dog. So yeah, I had to wear my fucking shirt all day at school, reversed because it said 69 on it, which was kind of funny, but it was kind of gank too. I was like, man, come on, like, I can't wear this shirt. I mean, I was a little middle school kid. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but I was still proud of my 69 shirt. Dang it.
It's like halfway understandable. Like I guess I get it, but it's a number.
Yeah, Brady's a guest. We're good with Brady. He's a
He's making himself known.
exactly, exactly.
He's just making himself known.
And then wrestling figures, yeah, I mean, I have a lot of the old stuff. Like, I have a lot of my old wrestling toys, but all of them are played with. I mean, none of them are like in box or good condition or anything like that. I just have them because it's like, it's my kid. Like that. Those are like the shit that I played with when I was a kid. That's the only reason I keep
Yeah,
them. I mean, I wouldn't like display them everywhere, but it's kind of like,
I wish I would have kept mine because I mean, it would be illogical for me to have them now, or I guess not illogical, but impractical. Because I'm not gonna play with them. I wouldn't have them displayed. I don't think, and it would be so many. It would become a storage problem. I think, which I already have, so I don't
that
need
is
that
true.
anymore.
That is true. As an adult, you start having these storage issues for sure. And then I have this like bad thing where I just buy stuff a lot, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna like it. Like, it's gonna be expensive the next time I want it. I'm gonna buy it. I
Get
do
it
that.
now. It's on sale now. You have the money now. Why not?
I do that a lot. I definitely do that a lot. Okay, so next question. You brought up Pokemon cards. What happened to your Pokemon cards? I'm kind of curious about this. It sounds like it's gonna be bad, but I'm still gonna ask it anyways.
It's very bad. It's very bad. There was a time where I had everything stashed away. I mean, it was not just my. I mean, let me put it this way: they got destroyed. I'll
No.
cut to the chase. They got destroyed, but in an accidental way. It was. I had an apartment, and a lot of things got ruined because there was a water leak. Which I had clothes get ruined. My rock band controllers, like the guitar got soaked, the drum set got soaked, everything got wet. Binders of Pokemon cards are gone because of this.
Damn. I feel like we gotta
And I
put.
had I had like all the originals. I had all the
Ugh.
OGs. I 100% had like multiple holographic Charizards. Like I had them in binders. You can ask my sister too because she had just as big a collection as I did. We had the books and binders, the cards in sleeves, in number order, like all mint. It's
Mm.
crazy, and they got just wrecked,
Dude,
even in all the plastic and everything.
that definitely requires like Sarah McLachlan coming out and singing a show for sure, man. Holy
Devast-
shit,
Devastating loss.
that is a devastating
Devastating.
loss. I feel like a lot of people's Pokemon cards probably got destroyed in a very similar fashion, or their mom just sold them to like some
Yeah,
random
or
person.
or truly just thrown away. Like I'm sure there's people who their collections just got chunked like in a move or something. They're like, man, I
uh,
don't really need this. Not having the foresight to realize these things are going to be incredible amounts of money one day, and they
uh,
are.
they are. It's crazy, dude.
They
It
are.
is nuts. It is nuts. Like, it's not even just fucking Pokemon cards, dude. Video games, like everything is like just like skyrocketed in price. Like it's crazy. Like I'm glad that I kept some of this stuff, and I'm sad that I didn't keep some of this stuff. And you know, but Pokemon cards. I mean, I still have everything that I had when I was a kid, but it's nuts, dude. How much this stuff has gone up in value, and you know, I've kind of dodged a bullet on the apartment, you know, water stuff exploding when I lived in apartments too. I mean, because that definitely is something that happens, and it happens a lot, man. And there's no real safe way to store something. You can store it in like a storage unit, but I mean, why would you want to do that when you can have it, like, you know, just have it with you and like see it?
And
And
have it 20 feet from you, and you can it's accessible at any time.
exactly, it's more fun that way.
I get
It's
that.
yeah. I guess you know, it's just a tough thing. It's definitely a tough thing. Okay, so let's talk about some other stuff. Now, obviously, you guys see the little Funko Pop boxes. I want to thank Pixie for creating the actual design, the original design. I went ahead and went to the Funko Pop website and made EA512 as his own little character for this
Well
week's
done.
episode, and we got that little kayfabe connection. You know, shirt going. We're about to talk about your podcast, EA512. How many years have you been doing this podcast? And this is your free time to talk about the podcast and plug away.
All right. Well, thank you for this, everybody. If you don't know, I am part of a quartet podcast called Kayfabe Connection. We talk about all things wrestling, WWE, AEW. We talk about indie things, specifically like for the indies in our areas. We have one guy. His name's Brady. He's in the Atlanta area. Our other friend, Chris Eckhoff, he's in Missouri. So he goes like in that general area. He goes like he'll travel to different states even to go see shows because if you're not in Texas, you can travel between multiple states very quickly. Uh, so he's in Missouri. He goes like to Oklahoma and around his area too. Then myself and Villosaurus Rex, we both are here in Corpus, so we go to the locals here. Um, we try not to have too much too many like rumor mill type things. We really like to just talk about actual factual things and have our own predictions and things. But we do interview wrestlers as well. Recently, we have kind of been off of that, but we had Fuego del Sol on. He's now he's with AEW quite a bit. We've also had Jordan Grace on. She's a former Impact Women's Champion. So we've had a number of different people on, some indie guys as well. So we're really trying to put on some people, and then just meet as many cool people as we can in the process. What else? What else do I need to put here? I mean, I'll have the link or wherever. I can throw it in the chat whenever. But
Lamar got the link already on the. She got the hookup already for anybody
thank
that
you,
wants to join
Lamar.
in, and then we'll
Thank you
obviously
so much for that.
we'll have that link in the description of the YouTube video when we have it up. But yeah, I know you've been doing this for a long time. You guys have a ton of followers on Facebook. You guys are definitely making it out there. Let me ask you a question. Since you've done this podcast, who is the coolest person that you've met?
This person that I've met, um, I would probably say Jordan Grace, just because it was such a big name for her to come on to our show. She's like I said, a former champion, very large following. She's big on the indies. She's making her way up. Like I said, she's a champion, and also for her to come on ours, it was very cool. And then it was really nice just to see how uh, you see these people on TV and they portray the character and everything, but we all know at the end of the day they're a real person, and it was nice to see her real personality was not uh well, she was very down to earth, very nice, not she didn't seem snobby or anything. Not that I anticipated her to or anything, but these they're celebrities, so they can pretty much do whatever they want, and um within certain parameters, of course. But she was really nice and actually really cool. She had a lot of knowledge that she passed on to us, and we had a very good conversation. So that was definitely the coolest so far.
So far, okay, it's pretty
Far.
dope. That's pretty dope. So yeah, Let's see. So you mentioned Fuego de Sol. So Fuego de Sol, I saw him like 2 years ago at an indie show in Dallas, and that guy can move. Like he flips some flops around like he is nuts. And I did meet him, took a picture with him, got his autograph. He's a small dude. He's definitely, but he is like he can fly. He can definitely fly.
He's very small, but he has all the tools to be, I would say, a heavyweight champion one day. I don't think he really needs to put on size. He's bigger than, for example, like Rey Mysterio. Not comparing him at all because he's much larger, but Rey Mysterio was a world champion. So if he can, I could see Fuego doing it, especially if he were to stay in companies more like AEW, where they don't have gigantic people like WWE does. He could really have a lot of success there.
Agreed. I definitely agree with you. And you know, since we're talking about Fuego de Sol and that, so I'll tell you my funny story that I was going to tell you a little while ago. So I met Thunder Rosa. She was Thunder Rosa, obviously. But I didn't know she was Thunder Rosa at the time. Thunder Rosa took a picture. Like she took a picture with my phone of me and fucking James Ellsworth. Back when James Ellsworth was in Corpus Christi. She was there. She wasn't wrestling that night. She was actually there promoting. I know it was her. Ricardo Rodriguez was there, and Ellsworth was there, and also that was the first time I ever got to see a couple of other wrestlers. I forget. There's a couple of guys in AEW now that are there now. Obviously, Sammy was there. I got to see him wrestle that night, and I forget what the other guy's name is. Pretty Boy. What's his name? Pretty Boy Ricky.
He Starks.
Ricky
Yeah.
Starks. So Pretty Boy Ricky Starks was also there that night on the card, and I got to meet him as well. So it was it was dope though. I didn't know Thunder Rosa was Thunder Rosa. Then the next time I saw Thunder Rosa in Corpus, I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry that I didn't even recognize who you were because she didn't have her face paint or nothing like that." Thunder Rosa's been around for a long time. If you guys don't know this, and on top of that, like, what is it, like a year or two ago? You guys were helping promote. Thunder Rosa had some financial issues. She couldn't get her vehicle operating. She had some rough times, and you guys definitely helped her by donating money to get her vehicle repaired or something like that. I remember because I remember donating like $10 to the cause whenever it was going on. She's been around for a long time, and I'm so happy to see that she's starting to get some success and recognition out in mainstream, and AEW is giving these guys a chance that were so small. Like, I mean, they were literally that those every time I went to Corpus Wrestling, it was at a bingo hall. It is so cool to see them wrestle in front of now we got 1 million plus people watching AEW week in and week out on TNTs. That's pretty dang dope, honestly.
Yep. We had it was a meet and greet that we had with Thunder Rosa. We organized that and got her to come down, and then she had an appearance. She didn't have a match at the local promotion, but she did kind of have an appearance. She came out in the ring and did her thing, and I did get her autograph as well on that one, of course. So that's another cool one that I do have. But really, it's just those two. Those are the only two I have: Thunder Rosa and Sammy Guevara so far. Oh,
Nice.
actually, you know what? I'm lying. I have a Kenny Omega that's really badass
I've
too.
seen the Kenny Omega. You've had it in the background of
Had
your
it. I did
yeah,
have it in the background. Yeah.
along with your AEW action figure of Kenny Omega. Do you still have that?
Do still have that. I
Okay.
have the AEW Championship belt, which I'm I've never owned like a full size replica belt. I'm highly considering getting a full size AEW replica just to have that shit.
That
And
would be pretty
then
dope, and that's a nice looking belt, to be honest with you.
have the best belt in all of wrestling, with the exception of, I mean, now I would say they do for sure, including the New Japan title, because they have a new one since they unified their Intercontinental Championship
Yeah, it
and
doesn't
their
look as
heavyweight.
good. Yeah.
I do like it. I like the Eagle and everything, but the AEW Championship is far and away the best one now.
I would say the only two title belts better than the current AEW title is the old school, like early '90s WWF Winged Eagle belt. That I still love that belt. That belt claps. And then the old Intercontinental Championship with a white strap. That was those were pretty dope as well. And I hate that they changed it. I don't really like the new design of the Intercontinental title, to be honest with you. I feel like they should have just left it alone. And touch if you want to touch the U.S. title, that's one thing, but I feel like the IC belt should just stay the way it was. And I don't know why WWE likes to change things so much. I mean,
They
it
do it so they can they can create more merch.
Oh yeah.
That's really all I think it comes down to. Because if you look at their championships or all their main championships, I should say, the heavyweight championship, universal, and then the two women's championships, they're all the same, with minor differences being the belt color and like the backsplash design or the backsplash color behind the gigantic WWE logo. And the only reason I think that they did that is because it makes it a lot easier to mass produce these toys for the millions and millions of kids that are watching and want these toys.
Oh, 100%. The one thing I will say that I love about the WWE titles and the WWE like current state of affairs in that is the actual side plates being custom with custom logos. I think that is super dope, and I love that you can buy the side plates, to your favorite wrestler to match alongside with your belt. I think that's really cool. I think that's a great approach, but I really hate that big ass W in front of the WWE title. I think it looks kind of yucky. I think that they should go back to the eagle or something like that, but still have the side plates. I think the side plates are a good idea. I just don't like the front face of the title. Definitely is not, just big ass champion text. It just doesn't look, I don't know. It's not. It doesn't fit me. But I agree with you. AEW title belt definitely the best belt right now. I think that the Intercontinental title for New Japan was the best title until they decided to change it all
Yep,
up.
I agree. That one was the best. I mean, the two IWGP belts were the greatest, I think. And then behind those, for me, it's the big gold, the old WCW belt that they eventually took over. And then behind that was the OG undisputed championship. The one I want
Okay.
to say it was Jericho that got both of those. The big winged eagle that you're talking about, and then the big gold that I'm talking about. And they put together for one, and it was the undisputed championship. But I recall Brock Lesnar with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only guy that always comes to mind with that. But like the Undertaker had that one for a bit.
I think even Hogan had that belt for a second.
Yeah, I want to say Hogan had it for a bit too. So you know the one I'm talking about. Those are like my top five right there.
And I agree with you. And Freak also mentioned the big gold. The big gold is
Mhm.
definitely traditional and classic, and it actually had
Yep.
the nameplate, which was really dope as well. Like it's like, damn, dude, like this is the champion of the world, and it had your name on the very front face of the belt. That was cool as well. It wasn't a side
Best
plate.
best part about all those belts though that we're mentioning is the fact that the company logo is on there, sure, but it's very small. It's the size of a quarter or something. Nothing big. Not where how it is now. It's the focal point. It is all that's on the front plate of just the giant company logo. That's that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I do not like the big WWE logo. It doesn't look good. It's not. It doesn't signify a championship. So like when somebody wins a title in the NFL, the Lombardi Trophy doesn't have a huge ass NFL logo on it, or when an NHL team wins the Stanley Cup, or if somebody wins the World Cup, you know what I mean? Like all these, like they don't have like a big ass Concacaf logo or FIFA logo or NBA logo on the Larry O'Brien or NHL logo. Like no, there obviously it references the league, but it doesn't it doesn't represent the entire title. The title holder should represent the title. And I love the custom titles too, like Stone Cold's custom title back then. Everybody had like their own little customization. Even the Intercontinental title, when the Ultimate Warrior had it, like he had like a baby blue backsplash strap. Everybody had like the $1 million championship, very underrated, amazing title as well. It was just gorgeous title. Obviously, it wasn't a title to be seriously, taken seriously, but it was still a dope belt because it represented who owned it. I guess you could say.
It was still valid, and yeah, like the customizations, they're cool and all. Like this, the smoking skull belt, like the Stone Cold one that you're talking about. That one is one of the few that I actually do like. But then like you start getting into where they customized it for John Cena. They had the spinner belt. I hated that belt. I thought it was a joke. Like that one was more of a toy than what we have now, and that's like one of the most prestigious era titles that they had, which is it's just crazy to me.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. The spinner belt was definitely. I mean, I don't think it was as bad as the current genre of belts, but it definitely was kind of it was weird. It was kind of like the spinner rims and stuff like that. It
It
was.
was the sign of the times for sure,
I agree.
but I don't think it ever really had a place in something that should have been a prestigious championship. I feel like that kind of took away from it.
Understand. I understand what you're saying. Now, since we're on the wrestling subject, what do you think of all the post WrestleMania releases? I mean, Samoa Joe, Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickey James, Tulsa Green, Tucker, Kalisto, Bo Dallas, Mojo Rawley, and I think Wesley, all released in the last week. And then there was more releases, but those are the talent releases. I mean, we don't really care about the executives and admins unless Kevin Dunn's the guy that's getting canned. But what do you think of all the releases? What do you? Who is your like biggest surprise, and who do you think is going to make the biggest impact out there?
My the biggest surprise to me, which I mean, it depends on how you look at it, because part of me thinks it was kind of a shock because they had just given her a bit of a push. But the other half of me is like, okay, well, they just did that probably to shut her up for the time being, and then they knew that this was coming. But Peyton Royce, one part of the Iconics, the other her teammate Billy Kay, of course, they split them up on TV months ago, and then they were one of the only legit female tag teams. Like they came in to the company as a tag team. They ended up eventually winning the women's tag team championships, which was far far and away the most important thing they could have done to legitimize those belts. But they ended up splitting them apart. Peyton Royce had a big promo on Raw not too long ago, saying how she was feeling that her potential was being wasted and things like that. And first of all, that's not something that would normally be said on a hot mic on a live episode of Raw, no matter who it is. But the fact that they let her go out there and say that, that kind of was like, okay, maybe they're gonna take her a little bit seriously. Maybe they're gonna let her do something here. And then that same night, or I think it was the following week, maybe she had a crazy good match against Asuka, somebody who they consider like one of the goats in the company right now, one of the greatest women's wrestlers in the world. Had a great match with her, and then that was that. You did never see her again, and then she got the release. So that was a big shock to me. And then let me see. So who I think will have the biggest impact elsewhere? Um, it depends if Samoa Joe can if he's it depends on his situation, because from what I understand, he was released because he couldn't pass a physical, meaning he's still injured from whatever. I want to say it was a shoulder injury, but he couldn't pass his physical, so they dropped him. So I wonder if number one, that injury is legit, or if he's just saying that he's hurt to get out of his deal, which is kind of what I was thinking. And if he is really healthy, I think he's gonna go probably back to Impact, because that's the company that really put him on the map was Impact. Yeah, he had badass indie shows and things like that, but whenever he got to Impact and TNA, that's whenever he really took off. Same with AJ Styles; they were both there together, which is why they had really good programs together in WWE. But Samoa Joe, if he can get healthy, he can probably make the biggest impact in post his release from WWE. Which also that one always kind of Samoa Joe, I think, was one of the most underutilized talents in WWE history, considering who he was and the reputation that he had elsewhere. He could have and should have been a world heavyweight champion, if not universal champion, multiple times. They wasted him. If there's somebody that they wasted, it's Samoa Joe and the Iconics, I would say for sure.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't understand. Like Samoa Joe could have headlined like a WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar or something like that. Like that guy was absolutely like a beast. I mean, he could have been the guy that you can get somebody young over too. Like like you could have gotten Roman Reigns over with a guy like Samoa Joe. I mean, Samoa Joe is such a great and underutilized wrestler in WWE. Like he was amazing in TNA. And they had him healthy for a long time. They kept him for way too long in NXT, in my opinion. I don't understand why they kept him for almost 2 years in NXT. It was just like, why is this guy still here? Why isn't this guy in the main roster? You actually need talent on the main roster. Like you can continue to, like, the NXT program is working just fine. Like, get this guy out of here. Like, get him into the main program against somebody. There are guys that need experience against guys like Samoa Joe, but yeah, they just never used him. And for me, like, I think Chelsea Green is definitely gonna make an impact somewhere. Like, she was in the main event scene and then she got hurt. Like, it was an injury that it wasn't like a chronic type of injury. Like, she got hurt. Like, it's not like, it was her fault. She broke her wrist. And I agree with you. I was surprised that the Iconics got let go. I don't understand why these guys bring up like a women's tag team division and then cut like the most like over women's tag team that they have on the roster. They split them up. They do this every time, and it never, like, I never get why they do this. I agree. Peyton Royce definitely could be like a singles competitor, but why not keep them together still? Like, have Billy help her during matches, be her voice piece.
She could be her valet, they didn't have to split them up. They could have just started promoting Peyton as a singles wrestler with Billy Kay as the manager. Could have easily been done.
Exactly. And then Billy can still wrestle against whoever Peyton's trying to wrestle, like for a main event scene or whatever, like whatever promo she's in. Like, it would have been just fine.
I think they need to start listening to the fans more. I know AEW listens to their fans. Like it's been I won't say like proven or anything because I mean it has though. But Matt Hardy has come out on his Twitter saying like he's gonna stick because right now whenever he came to AEW he was like cycling through all his past personas. He was like doing a different persona every week. So the fans, I guess, were complaining about that, and he saw that and listened, and he said, "Okay, I'm gonna pick one persona." He even said, "Like I'm listening to the fans, I'm picking one persona, and I'm gonna do that." And that's why now we're seeing nothing but big money man, which is cool because I had that's something that he did in his past. Like that was I want to say a TNA Matt Hardy gimmick, and now he's doing it over here, and it's cool because I didn't really watch a ton of TNA back in the day, so it's nice to see some stuff from the past I didn't get to see.
I like that as well. I think I love the Broken Matt Hardy gimmick, but I also think that sometimes it can be kind of weird, and I think he needs a change back for sure. I mean, Mick Foley had the benefit of being able to pick a character, but you never saw him as all three except for the Royal Rumble and maybe like one or two other nights. But I agree. I think it's too much confusion when he has, like, his character was super weird when he was being all his little, like, characters like Matt 2.0, and it was just like, come on, like, pick one and go with it for now. Like, it's too much. Unless it was like a Royal Rumble, then that's something different. But in regular episodes, it gets too confusing for the average viewer, especially for somebody that doesn't watch week in and week out. To see Matt Hardy as one character one week, and then maybe they look, tune in 2 weeks later and see something different. It was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah, like, whoa, what happened here? Like, what did I miss?
And back on the tag team stuff, like, it was crazy. Like, Tucker also got released, and Tucker was, it was Tucker and Otis, and they were
Otis.
heavy machinery in NXT. They had a great, like, beginning WWE run when they got to the main roster, and then they split them up. And then you thought Otis was gonna move to the main event scene because he wanted Money in the Bank, and now who the fuck's he tag teaming with? Fucking Chad Gable, I think, right?
Yeah, he's with Chad Gable, which Chad Gable is another guy that well, his partner Jason Jordan, he had a career-ending injury, so they kind of kept him on and had him with his singles run, and it didn't really pan out. And now they have him with Otis, which is cool because they are both really technically sound. I know Otis is really, it's hard to say or imagine because he's such a large guy, but he can move like a smaller guy. He does a lot of fast, smaller type of man moves really well.
Agreed, agreed. Yeah, Otis is an entertaining wrestler. I don't like that pairing, to be honest with you. I think they should have, just put him and Tucker back together, and that would have been that. We do have a quick question, and this is from Lamar Ness. Has COVID messed up your podcasting at all?
Um, I want to say no because we have done it via Zoom the entire time. Well, Actually, I'm lying. We originally started doing it on Discord. We would go into a voice chat on Discord similarly to this and just record it and then edit it, of course, throw it up. But now we're doing it all on Zoom. So since we've had guests, it's always been on Zoom. It's always been very easy for them. They a lot of time they're on their phone. They just call it in on their phone. They put their phone down in front of them, and that's the interview. The one thing that COVID did mess up was us going to shows and locally networking a lot. Whenever COVID happened, all the promotions here stopped for months. Like it was pretty much like a whole year. I think it was. Let me see. The last one that I remember, it was in February of last year. They had a show planned for March. It was Green with Envy, I remember, and it got canceled. And then the first show back, I want to say, was in February this year, and they just had their Green with Envy show last month. So uh, it was a whole year of not getting to interact and network with indie guys that are coming from all over the country to this company. So that kind of put a damper on things, but we were still getting interviews and things like that done. So I want to say, did it have an impact? Very minimal.
Okay, okay, and let me ask you. So it's crazy. So, I went to Royal Rumble 2020. That was January, obviously, of 2020, Houston, Texas. I saw Sammy Guevara. Uh, he
Outside in the
he
tank.
was outside in the dang tank, dude. It was hilarious.
Legit.
He was having a good time. I saw him put the tank in his car when he was driving off. Sammy was driving this beat up old car. It was hilarious. He's Houston local, so I don't think he has that car anymore. I'm pretty sure he has something a little bit newer now. But
Yeah, I'm sure he got something a little nicer now.
yeah, he's gotten something a little nicer now. It's crazy, dude. Like COVID definitely affected like my plans for wrestling last year. I was going to Royal Rumble, and we were gonna go to an AEW show that was gonna be in Dallas. We went to an AEW show in Dallas a couple of like the month before. So Royal Rumble 2020 January, and then we went to AEW Dallas in December of 2019. And then it's been months since the last time. It's crazy if you think about it. I don't even like. I'm about to go to the NFL draft. I think this is the first time that I've gone out to do something like this in a long time. Now, when I was in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida has no restrictions. I almost went to an AEW show because there's nothing like. I know AEW is restricting, but just, like Florida as a whole, it was like kind of the Wild West. And I think I'm gonna go to an AEW show before before too soon because it's so close to here. It's literally like from where I'm at right now, it's like 6 hours away. I got family up there. I definitely want to go check out a show live. I think it would be kind of special to go to Dally's place. And the tickets are so cheap, to be honest with you. It's like kind of a no-brainer really to go down there and check it out. But yeah, dude, it is it's crazy how COVID has kind of impacted doing live events. I mean, it's nuts, really. Uh,
I'm glad it's almost over because COVID is a in general a stop to a lot of things for everyone. So to say now we're already a year later and things are getting back to normal, it's gonna be crazy to see how fast a lot of stuff, a lot of like new content and new stuff just comes out really quickly right now because everybody is just gonna kind of pick up where they left off from last year, where they had to put everything down because of the restrictions and things. And now we're gonna see everything that they had planned for last year, plus what they got going on this year. It's gonna be an interesting time the next couple of months.
It is. I think a lot of people are going to be back out and about. I mean, I'm really excited that WrestleMania is going to be in Dallas next year. I'm 100% going to be going to WrestleMania. I'm going to try to get some good seats this time around too. And I'm obviously going to do everything that I can. Do all the A, B, C, D stuff. Like go to WrestleCon a bunch of times. Go to Access. Access was a lot of fun. Access is definitely still a lot of fun to go to. When I went at WrestleMania 32, I had a great time. And then obviously 25, I went to Access, and it was a good time too. It's changed and evolved a lot, but it's still a lot of good times. Like I watched Shinsuke Nakamura debut on NXT TV. at WrestleMania 32. Like it was a good time. Like I had a lot of time, or I had a lot of fun times at Access. So I definitely want to do that. I definitely want to go to WrestleCon. Uh, I probably will skip the Hall of Fame if they end up having the Hall of Fame. Um, I've already gone to two, and it's kind of like it's I don't know. It's just not me anymore.
It's it's too for me, it would be too ceremonial. Like, I'm there trying to have a good time, I'm there trying to have fun and be high energy and things, and that's just going to I get what it is. I understand what it is. You're seeing all these legends, and you're sitting in a room with, like, literally everyone in the company from A to Z, but I'm not that's not me. I'm not trying to just sit there for 4 hours or however long it will be.
Yeah, they don't want you to be riled. Like they don't want you to rile up or nothing for sure. Yeah, they definitely take it
That's a
serious.
big that's a big chunk of time that could be spent at one of the million indie shows that are gonna be in Dallas. That's at that same time period that weekend.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, I definitely have plans to find to explore and have some fun times. And if you're going, obviously we'll all meet up and have some good times as well, Eric.
Sir.
So let's talk about some other things. We'll get up. Well, let me ask you one more question. Who is your favorite wrestler of all time, and who is your current favorite wrestler? I think that's we'll put a cap on the wrestling right here.
Okay, so favorite wrestler all time, um, it's tough. It's a toss-up between, like, Stone Cold and Triple H. Those are, like, the 2 top guys to me, like, from whenever I was coming up. Stone Cold obviously was the top guy in the Attitude Era, and then Triple H took over after that. After he and The Rock left, like, Triple H was the man on top, so, uh, I would probably say Triple H, for all time, and even over Stone Cold, really, even over him too. Then currently, my favorite, that's tough, but I would probably say Kenny Omega just because he's doing the most right now. He's going to different. He's doing what I wish like people in WWE could do, which is go to other companies and show up with their gold or whatever it is they got, all the WWE reference and everything, and showing up and making a scene because I think it would be really cool if WWE did some shit like that. But currently, yeah, Kenny, and tonight he's going belt versus belt against oh man, Rich Swan for the Impact Championship. Whoever wins gets both belts, and they got to be on both shows. So that'll
That's
be cool.
that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. That he's doing double duties really, and more than just double duties. And you never know. WWE might change their mind. I mean, that podcast, that Stone Cold podcast with Chris Jericho definitely, I guess, opened some
Open the
eyes.
door.
Yeah, it might have opened the door for sure. I mean, I think WWE would be smart if they got in the business of kind of lending their talent around. I mean, just make sure that you can definitely work out a way to make sure that everything happens, in a positive light, and both companies succeed. I mean, I think WWE could learn a lot from AEW, and AEW can learn a lot from WWE. I mean, WWE definitely still has the production value. Like it doesn't get better than WWE production value, but I mean, AEW has a lot to offer with the young talent. Trying out new things. I think they're always looking to evolve into just bring in random talent that you just some people don't know these people. Obviously, you know them because we've seen them in the indies shows for a long time now. But WWE really, I'm so surprised. I'm really surprised that WWE did not sign Thunder Rosa after she started wrestling in NWA. I thought that was going to be her final, like she was going to head straight to you know to WWE from there, and nothing. Like instead, AEW got the
I'm
benefit.
really glad. I'm glad that she didn't though, because we know what happens when big indie talents sign with WWE. Number one, the first thing that happens is they go under a huge gimmick refresh because they're not ever their same persona. So Thunder Rosa will be gone.
Oh yeah.
Second, she would be stuck in NXT, which would be uh, unnecessary. And then number 3, she would probably end up somewhere in the women's mid card, which is not a good place to be, uh, and forgotten. So I'm glad that she didn't, and I'm glad she's where she is now, which is between NWA and AEW. She's former NWA champion. She's uh, probably a future AEW women's champion. I mean, I would say she deserves it. She had probably the match of the year so far against Britt Baker like a month ago. So she's I'm glad that she didn't sign there. And all I can say is I hope she never does, unless it's after the fact she's already like a superstar.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Uh, and then my favorite wrestler, obviously, Macho Man. Pretty much is my favorite wrestler of all time. Bobby Heenan is my favorite like non wrestler of all time. I think those are two pretty solid choices. But I think Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels kind of have like a tie for probably second. It's tough because I love the Hitman a lot. I know Hitman has a pretty serious take sometimes and takes things a little too seriously. And I know he said some kind of bad things about your favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega, and him
Yeah,
not being
but
safe. But Bret Hart has
it's
an
okay.
old mentality. You know what I mean? Like he has the old man's mentality. But as far as the wrestling go, I mean, Bret Hart was. I mean, you couldn't find a better wrestler than Bret Hart back then for sure. And then the whole Canadian versus America thing, Canada versus America stuff, that was amazing with Stone Cold, and it was just off the charts, to be honest with you. And then DX obviously entered that as well. That was some good TV back then for sure. And then right now, it's tough, man. I've always been a big fan of the New Day, and you know this. The New Day. I mean, I really like Biggie, but I think Xavier is even more underrated than all of them. He is talented on the mic. He has pretty decent wrestling skills, and I think the only reason that he hasn't been pushed is because he's not a big, tall guy. But I think Xavier is a really good wrestler, and I think he deserves better than what he gets. But I think he's also happy because he gets the freedom that WWE gives him. He has more freedom than most. With his YouTube channel and uh, just the things that they let him do. They don't let everybody do. I mean, Zelina Vega had gotten fired for doing things that Xavier does. With permission, which is so stupid to be honest with you. And it makes me mad, really, because Zelina was really talented. She is so good on the mic, and then it fucked Andrade over. Like Andrade, literally, and in my opinion, and me and Mario talked about this last week on the podcast. I think that if Andrade should have just been given to Paul Heyman as well, Andrade, Roman Reigns, I think that would have been a perfect combination.
I agree. That would have been really nice. I know there was a report like that had been said, but okay, this is again like some dirt sheet type shit. But they had said that Vince McMahon himself had told Andrade, like, if you don't learn how to speak English, like you're not gonna get a push. So he did, and he did start to learn. There was a point where he was getting like weekly backstage interviews, and you could tell that his English was getting better week to week, noticeably better week to week. And then, of course, on top of that, he had Zelina Vega. So why did he even really need to learn English in the first place if he had her as the mouthpiece? Which she was like you touched on it yourself. She's like legendary mic skills. So I don't think he ever really needed to. But I think it was just another case of them having signing a badass indie talent and not knowing what to do with them, and that was just their way to get rid of them.
I agree, man, and it really sucks because I really liked Andrade. I think he can be world champion material anywhere he goes. And you
Definitely.
know what? I think I'm happy and excited to see what his future holds. To be really honest with you, and I think WWE really dropped the ball on him and Zelina. But Zelina's also a good wrestler too. It's crazy. Like I don't get why they like okay like. eh, and then Andrade is like Charlotte's man. Like, do you really want to start messing with Charlotte Flair? Like, you have pushed this woman to the moon as your top female wrestler in WWE. Like, she's homegrown, et cetera, et cetera. Are you really like you're gonna put this bad flavor in her mouth, and she's probably gonna leave the company like someday. You never know. Like, it's one of those realities. Like, she's gonna want to be by her man while he's out on the road, wrestling and making a living too. And like I said, Andrade has a future ahead of him for sure. And it's so dumb, dude. Like it doesn't make sense to me sometimes. Like just the shit that WWE does. She did leave, Karma. She did leave. By the way, Karma said his favorite wrestlers of all time are Eddie Guerrero and John Cena, and he likes Rey Mysterio's son, who definitely has learned a lot in the system for sure. He's very impressive. But you would expect Rey Mysterio's son to have some of the best teaching him for sure.
I like Dominic Mysterio. I really didn't like him at first. I thought he was just getting the shot because his name and his dad was and all that. But from then to now, he's gotten a lot better. So I'm cool with it now, and I do think he has a bright future. I think he could be a champion eventually. Depends on the path that he takes, but he's definitely got skill. I thought at first he was just going to kind of be there very quickly and not really do anything, and they were going to see he wasn't going to work out. But he definitely impressed me. So that's different.
Actually, Karma's favorite wrestler isn't Rey Mysterio's son. Fuck, his favorite wrestler, his current favorite wrestler is Humberto Carrillo, who's really really good, for
Yeah,
sure.
he's another guy that is not utilized a whole lot. I know he was recently injured, and I know he just came back from injury. So I did see him on Raw. I want to say if it wasn't this past Monday, it was the Monday before, and he looked like he was in magnificent shape. He looked like he completely transformed. So
I mean,
I think he'll be used more.
WWE really needs to find a Spanish wrestler, like a Latino wrestler, right now, pretty bad. Rey Mysterio's getting old. They just released their best, like most talented Latino wrestler that they've been building for a long
Listo.
time. Kalisto also gone. So you have Kalisto, you have Andrade, both gone. There's definitely a void that needs to be filled by somebody. I mean, Kalisto was U.S. champion like a year ago. It's nuts, to be honest with you, to see these guys coming and going, really. After WrestleMania releases. And Herky Jerky, I agree. That's probably one of the most disappointing things that happened last year in wrestling. Kofi Kingston winning the title at WrestleMania was literally one of the most special, iconic WrestleMania moments in my opinion. That is
Full
the
time.
best WrestleMania moment of all time. I'm gonna say that right now. That like I cannot remember a moment more special and beautiful than that moment when Kofi Kingston won the title, and then to have him in national TV. This is WWE's first time back on regular non-cable TV. Completely get demolished by Brock Lesnar and never get a rematch. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. And he was beating great talent too. It's not like his run. He beat some pretty decent wrestlers. He beat Randy Orton. Him and Randy Orton had a great promo to kind of like refresh the little feud that they had years ago when they were about to push Kofi, and then they were like, let's pull the plug on him. It was cool to see, and I just don't understand what happened there. I agree that Brock Lesnar should have gone over, but I feel like Kofi should have at least had some sort of offense. It was kind of like, wow, this is it, 10 seconds or whatever it was. It was just
I don't know why they did that. Like I don't understand what the point of squashing Kofi was. Um, I think the fact that he didn't get the rematch was just stemming from how he lost it. Like I think it was like in 10 seconds or something. It was like an F5 and the 1, 2, 3 count. So I think he didn't see that he needed the rematch.
it's
I,
so trash to me though. And you know what? Karma
I,
brought up another one, another good one. Zack Ryder winning the Intercontinental title in that ladder match at WrestleMania 32. Definitely, it's gonna go down as one of the most iconic WrestleMania moments because it was a huge swerve. Nobody expected it, and it went to a man that really, really deserved it. That guy. I mean, if you talk about pioneers of wrestling, modern wrestling, his YouTube channel, his YouTube show completely opened up WWE's eyes to a whole new market, the digital market. And I know eventually WWE would have figured out the digital market, but Zack Ryder definitely helped expedite that. From that point on, after Z True Island, Long Island Story, I mean, WWE had all these YouTube shows, and some of them, were pretty big misses, but still, all that content is there available, and that's, WWE Network ended up becoming a thing too, and I really do feel like, that was one of those little moments where somebody that was frustrated tried to reach for that brass ring that Vince McMahon always talks about, and he got it. in my opinion, he got it, and he didn't. They just they shit on him, and then he won an IC title, and it's kind of similar to Kofi. He lost it he lost it right away the next night on Raw for Zack Ryder, to the Miz, in a very like it was just like what the fuck is this? Like, why not give this guy like a small push, and let him let him wrestle for a little bit. He's not the worst wrestler. He's a big tall wrestler. It was just it didn't make sense to me.
To legitimize it, like even if you wanted to use him as a transitional champion, why not let him hold it for a little bit, maybe get like a couple of victories and then drop it, just to kind of legitimize the fact that y'all gave him the win in the first place. If
Eh,
not, then it just looks like he second guessed themselves and decided to go the other way.
I agree. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. And I'm not. This doesn't take anything away from the Miz or anybody else that was champion at that time. It doesn't make sense to me that they handled it the way they handled it. But yeah, WWE always just the most questionable decisions. We lost EA's video feed, so give me 1 second and we'll see him come back here in a second. Um, Whew, it's been a pretty good podcast so far, but WWE really does make some of the worst decisions sometimes, for sure. I don't really get it, and I wish that I wish that we could figure out why they do the things they do sometimes. All right, we got EA back. It looks like. All right,
Can
EA.
you can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can still hear you.
Okay.
I hope
I
they.
don't know what happened.
I hope they plan on pushing Cesaro to the moon. I agree with you. Cesaro's another guy that's been with the company for a really long time, has grabbed the brass ring multiple times, and still hasn't gotten the push that he deserves.
He finally just had his first singles match in all of his career. I think he said he's been with the company 8 years or something, and that was his first singles match at WrestleMania that just passed against Rollins. I'm glad that he won, and I do think they should push him. I know it was looking like he was going to get a push. They had him face off with Roman, I think, like a couple weeks back on SmackDown, and that really intrigued me a lot. I was really happy to see that, and I'm hoping that eventually comes back around. But I think they're keeping him with Rollins right now, like whatever he was. They're keeping their feud going. I think what'll happen is Cesaro will get another win over Rollins, and that'll kind of show that he's the real deal, I guess, to the casuals or whatever. And then they'll push him. They'll put him against Roman, which I think Roman will still beat him, but at least he'll be a one-time uh, title contender.
Now, let me ask you, EA, we're going to get off the wrestling topic here. What is your favorite video game of all time?
Favorite video game of all time is super easy for me. It's a game that I have probably beaten upwards of.
Metal.
I mean, I really can't say. I would say more than 25 times. Metal Gear Solid from PS1. And I've beaten that game, I mean, a million times. I know everything there is to do in that game, like every secret and everything. I know it all. I think the fastest I've ever beaten it was like in 5 hours or something. Uh, that game will always have a place in my heart no matter what. And I will continue to own it as long as there is a port available for it.
Lamar Ness said she thought it was Cupcake Kid, and Karma
Oh,
said
Cuphead.
Galaga.
Cuphead. I do love Cuphead. That was a really good game that I still haven't beat. I'm on the final boss basically, and I still can't beat it. I need help with that.
Nice, nice. And Karma said his favorite video game was Galaga, which definitely it is. Um, I don't really know my favorite video game of all time. Probably Shadow Hearts. Maybe I don't know.
It's hard to say because there's so over time you play so many games and they all reach you in a different way, and it's for me anyway. I mean, Metal Gear, of course, that one was real quick because that one has stuck with me from the entire time that I've ever played it. I've never gone away from it. But uh, there's a lot of others that I won't name off top, but they all have a special place to me.
All right, and then so your year of being, your 1 year of being Twitch affiliate is coming up. What have you learned in the past year plus that you've been streaming? And I mean, I've said this multiple times. EA was like one of my inspirations to start streaming. He had been streaming for a little bit. I watched him play Fortnite, hang out with his buddies, and it always seemed like a good time. I always came by, just say, hey, what's up? Uh, what have you learned in the past year plus of streaming?
Um, I've learned a lot of things. Two of the most important things I've learned. Number one is, and I still need to adhere to this because I really don't, but consistency is like the most important thing. If you can stick to a schedule and stream at this time on these days every time, you'll definitely grow. Which I have a huge problem with that because, like, for example, last night I streamed for the first time. I think it was like 13 days, and then before that, like 13 days ago, that was my first stream, like in another 14 days. So I really was slacking on it for a bit, but IRL things uh, play a big part in that. I work a very physical job, so I come home just dragging ass tired every day, and it's hard to push yourself, even though you're sitting down playing a game. It's still I wouldn't say it's hard to do it, but sometimes you don't want to be sitting in front of the camera and all that. So uh, I'm glad now I'm in a little bit of a better place. I think things are going to start changing for me a little bit, where it'll be easier for me to come home and do it. Uh, so consistency is number one, and number two is just to, no matter what you're doing, no matter what game it is, no matter how many viewers you got, how many chatters you got, as long as you're having fun, people are gonna have fun with you. As long as you're enjoying yourself and having a good time playing whatever game you're playing, or if you're doing like an IRL stream where you're crafting things like Pixie, for example, or if you're doing a podcast like this, for example, as long as you're having fun and you can have a good communication with the viewers you got, it's going to be a good time for everyone all around.
Exactly, I agree with that. And freak definitely a big time difference between sitting alone and playing compared to sitting down with the camera playing games and trying to entertain people at the same time. I agree with that. And Mar Pizza, how are we doing, Mar Pizza? I hope you're doing good. Let me ask you another question. So obviously, I said you were definitely one of my inspirations to start streaming. Let me ask you, who was one of like? Do you have any inspirations that started your stream? Like, how did you get to start streaming? And who is your favorite current? Like, who are your favorite streamers right now that you watch?
Uh, well, it's funny you say that I was your inspiration for streaming because you really were mine as well. I know because you and I both pretty much started, right around the same time. I think you were a little bit before me when it came to the COVID layoff situation. So you started up before I did because I know I started really. I remember I got laid off May 10th, and I started streaming like the following Monday, so right around the corner is my 1 year. I think you came out like in March. I want to say that you started up. Maybe
It was
maybe
like
I'm wrong
in a.
about that.
It was into March. It was 3/22.
Okay, so well, March right there.
Yeah.
So but see, I was a really off and on streamer before that. I was like I would do a couple of streams, like a couple of days, and then I would fall off for months, and then I would jump back on and do another couple of days, and then fall off again for months. And whenever I got laid off, that was like, okay, look, I need to do something because I've been unemployed before for months at a time, and it sucks. It becomes very depressing just being home all day, not doing anything. Of course, yes, I'm looking for jobs and things, but just for the most part, I'm there at home, not doing anything, just laying down, watching TV, playing video games. So I said, okay, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to really push myself and get in front of the camera and do this every day. And I did do it for, I mean, forever. I did it for a very long time, really, until I got, well, I shouldn't say a very long time. It was only like 2 months because then we went back to work. But I did it every day, Monday through Friday. I think I remember my schedule was like 11 a.m. to open ended, kind of like whenever it would be like whenever my girlfriend would get out of work, depending on what time she was getting out. She was coming home like at 4 o'clock. I would stop at 4 o'clock, you know. But other than that, it was like an everyday thing, and I hit the affiliate goal, which was really all I ever really wanted to do. I really just wanted to get to the affiliate because I felt like that was a difficult enough challenge to feel a very large accomplishment from it. And once I achieved that, I was like, okay, cool. Let me not let off and keep going.
So we do got a question in the chat from Lamar Ness. Are you more introverted or extroverted or a mix? And how does it affect your streaming?
That's a very good question. It's um it's a tough one. I would say I'm a mix because like my preference, I guess, would to be by myself if I could be and not have to deal with anybody. But I'm a really good public speaker. Like I can deliver a speech in public, or I'm uh like a team leader at work, so I can talk to people and get them to do what I need them to do and things like this. So it's hard to say I'm one or the other, but I would probably say my preference, like, or I guess what I would identify with is going to be the introvert, just because if it's up to me, like I'm gonna want to be by myself. Like I like to work alone, so I guess that would be it. But I can function as an extrovert if I have to.
Okay.
I'm adaptable.
Do you have any hobbies? I mean, other than watching wrestling and playing video games, do you have any other hobbies that we don't know of?
Real quick to answer the question, like to further answer it, because she
Uh huh.
said, "How does it affect
Oh
your
yeah, she
streaming?"
did.
Um, I feel like it doesn't, because in the situation that I'm streaming, I can be extroverted, and I can communicate with the audience, and I can interact with them and uh not have like a problem with it. But it is hard at first, because whenever you got like 0 views, you gotta just talk to yourself. So it's cool whenever you finally do get somebody to join in, and you have somebody to give you the back and forth versus staying there by yourself and talking to yourself.
All right, we got another question
Uh,
from her. Is
mhm.
it hard to play brand new games on stream? Like just new games in general?
um, it can be, because it's taking you out of your comfort zone. Like for example, I was a big Fortnite channel at first, and then I started playing other things. Like I started playing Stranded Deep, for example. That's completely different from Fortnite. That's something like a game I've never even like played before, or that type of game, a survival game like that. Never played anything like it, so it was a very tough experience taking L's on camera for people watching me losing like terribly. But then you get the cool viewer that's like, hey, why don't you do this, and then you start talking to them, and they like, I remember it was a viewer I had. His name was Belgian Beer Belly. Shout out to him. He was a big help when I was playing Stranded Deep for the first time. He was helping me. Uh, like he pretty much told me how to survive on the island. It was badass. Like
I
all his
enjoyed
chat.
watching you play that. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed watching you play Stranded Deep. I
So much
also
fun.
I also enjoyed you when he did Coach E in Madden. That was always fun to watch too. Like you definitely play a variety of games for sure. I
Coach
definitely
E is gonna come back very soon. Once definitely once NCAA, the college football game, comes out, that'll for sure be Coach E's time. But I might pick up the new Madden too, like when it comes out.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and if it comes with Game Pass, you might as well just pay.
Yeah,
Game Pass is $15 a month. Obviously, I know you're a Sony guy, but I mean, if you have an Xbox by then, it may not just be a bad idea. I am just realizing that Game Pass Ultimate includes both PC and Xbox, so you get to play, you get the best of both worlds. And yeah, I mean, I agree. Streaming a new game, that's actually been one of my things, like my little challenges right now. Like, I'm thinking about maybe going Yakuza, because I saw Mario playing Yakuza, and I'm like, damn, dude, I kind of want to play Yakuza or Persona 5. I haven't really played games like that. Like, you guys knowing me as a streamer, other than EA, because EA has been here since day one. I played Persona 4 at one point. I played Nier Automata as well, but this was, and then obviously I finished Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was the first game as an affiliate that I finished start to finish on stream. Those are really the only times that I played. But this was before like I hit the wave of everybody just kind of like the I guess the building of the collection, I guess you could say, where this whole community just came together and everybody's awesome and just loving and since then I started playing Mario Maker and I play a bunch of other things, and it's kind of hard to let go of that and try to go somewhere different. So I definitely I remember though when you played that survival game. It was fun. Like you had a coconut, and like you were like, "What the hell do I do with this?" And then like from there, like you just kind of you develop over time, and it was great. I had a great time watching Crash Bandicoot too. When you played Crash, Crash is such a frustrating ass game.
Crash was the biggest rage quit game ever. My
I
God,
saw you rage quit so many times, dude.
so upset.
You
Like,
stopped
oh my
stream
God. Yep,
a few
I'm
times.
I'm ending stream here. Can't go on.
I remember that, dude. I remember you were like, you know what? I'm gonna leave for an hour and I'll be back to
I'm
stream.
gone, and then I wouldn't even come back. I would
Yeah.
be done. Fuck you.
I remember that, dude. All right. So, do you have any favorite hobbies that, other than playing video games or watching sports? I mean, I know you're big in NFL and NCAA, et cetera, et cetera. You have any other hobbies that we don't know of?
I do play guitar. I've been playing guitar since I was like 12. I think uh I would take. I mean, I know I would take years off, like in between, so I'm not like really good or anything. But it's definitely a hobby that's always been there for me. I have a few guitars, and I'll pick them up every now and then and practice. I'll learn a song, and then I'll put it down and never play again for months. But I did learn a couple songs over the weekend, so that was pretty cool. Like this
Nice.
weekend.
Nice. That's pretty dope, dude.
Yeah, and
Um,
then I do also I don't podcast like MMA or anything, but it is kind of been uh on my mind lately because I do watch like every single MMA promotion too. So that's another hobby, I guess you could say. Like I watch and analyze fights. I'm trying to be little Ariel Hawani Jr., but I don't know if that'll actually pan out into anything.
hey, man, you know what? If you don't try it, then it's never
Exactly.
gonna pan out. Uh,
Exactly.
so you might as well try it. If it's something that you like, obviously. I mean, don't do something you don't like. But yeah, I mean, if you feel like, I mean, you already have a pretty successful wrestling podcast. I think going the MMA route. If it's something that you're knowledgeable in, you should definitely do it. Like everybody should definitely reach their dreams if they have them, and try something out. Make yourself vulnerable, and try something new out. I think I think I talked about this at the beginning of stream before we started the podcast. Our friend Andrew781, another streamer, kind of went outside of his comfort zone and challenged somebody that has been playing a specific game for a very long time. He picked that game up, only played it for 2 weeks, and they had a really amazing, like a fun collaboration. And while Andrew did lose, I think he had a good time, and that's really what it's all about. If you're having a good time, and you do it. Like if it's something that you want to do, you do it. In my opinion.
It's all that matters. As long as you're having a good time with it, that's all that matters. Because in the end, it doesn't matter if you're getting a million views or one view. At the end of the day, if you had fun playing the game, then it was a good day.
Exactly. So I think obviously we've known each other since childhood. Is there any questions that you have for me?
Um, no, man, I really don't. To be honest, I don't. The I mean, other than like just stream questions, but I mean that's really it. It's not anything I can't ask you off camera or anything.
Ask away. Ask one or two questions. We're good, man. Come on.
Okay.
What do we got?
So, what would be your best advice for building a community? Because your community, uh, as as I am a part of it, I want something similar of my own. And not to say I'm gonna I'm gonna take all your people or whatever, but I want to have my own. Like I have my own Discord, but I don't use it. It's just kind of there for uh, me and my friends or whoever I am streaming with at the time to be able to communicate easier. But I do want to eventually develop that into something more tangible like yours. So the question, I guess, would be what would be the best way to go about that?
That is good. I don't know how I matched the Twitch algorithm, to be honest with you. I mean, I can tell you like what I did. I mean, I was positive all the time. I definitely showed up to people's streams. Don't self promote, obviously, and I mean,
Yeah.
unless there's a self promo channel, obviously, then you could do it there. But I just got to know a lot of different people. I used to raid a lot of brand new streamers. I mean, I raided, Lamar Ness came from a raid. Um, Definitely, Karma saying be vocal. Definitely be vocal. Definitely make yourself known somehow. Obviously, don't step on people's toes in a community that you're not in. Talk shit on Twitter.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you want to talk shit on Twitter. I mean, I guess if you really want to get like some really like
If you want
fun
to get the
randos.
cheap heat,
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't know how I became got like viewers and built this community. Um I guess positivity, man. Like I that's the only thing I can say that that people have mentioned multiple times, is just being a positive influence. I mean, always smiling and helping people out when they need it. I mean, I know that EA, you had questions for me when you were starting when you got your laptop, and I mean, he was
Oh
streaming
yeah.
off of his console beforehand, and now he and I've helped so many people. You're not the only one. I mean, there's so many people here that I've helped out. We're talking, Miranda, like a lot of different people. Punisher, I've helped multiple times. Lamar Ness, I've helped multiple times. Yeah, you know what? Freak has a good. I have a very, very like, I can tolerate just about anything. And I'm very forgiving as well. Not kicking people out of the community for no reason, stuff
no
like that.
reason.
And you know what happened in that situation,
Yeah.
those are definitely like the one-offs. But yeah, man, really just smiling, being positive, being happy, and I mean that's kind of like that's me already. Like that I guess just being myself in a nutshell, and being yourself too. I mean, you definitely have a great personality. You're always full of positivity. I think you could do this exact same. You could definitely have the same level of success. You're just a sweet guy, and always giving and always like just smiling and happy. I love going to EA streams. He's always like talking smack to his friends and just having a good time. And like I said,
Oh
that's
yeah.
when I saw you, even in those like one-off streams that you used to have, uh, you know, over a year or and a half ago, like I always
I
had
feel
fun
like they were
watching you.
still the same. I feel like they were the same. Like I'm the same as back then. Like even in the one-off streams, like I would have like a couple days here and there. I would still, I would get views and stuff too. Don't get me wrong. I would get the some chatters in, and it would be cool. And I feel like I would talk to them the similar way that I do to the viewers that I get now. So I feel like I haven't changed much on that end. I think my big problem is I just need to be more number one consistent on Twitch itself, and then two, uh, just more present. I think like for me it's hard because I work. I can't like just be on my phone all day. Uh, so I can't really be present too much in like the discords. But when I am, I uh try to be there and loud.
Yeah, yeah, and you definitely are vocal. Consistency definitely is a good one, for sure. I mean, you guys know that my stream schedule used to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It used to be from 4 p.m. Central to like 9 p.m. Central, whatever. Things have changed since then. I can't always be here at 4 p.m. Central because of work, because I don't have the same schedule, and you guys have been like, everybody here has been amazing, continuing to support me and continue to show up. And then I didn't even have my desktop for months, so sometimes my audio would be off track from my video, because my laptop just couldn't handle everything that I throw at it. And you guys have been amazing. And yeah, I mean, like I said, those things for sure. Definitely branch out, do collaborations with other streamers, as much as you can. And I know having a full-time job, you probably can't do that every time, especially yours, which is more physical than it is mental. You come home at the end of the day and you're fucking exhausted. I mean,
Just
that's
drained.
yeah,
Just like
yeah,
about to fall asleep on the way home.
exactly. So it's definitely a lot tougher. Like for me, it's like, okay, I can. Sometimes some days are kind of rough though. I use my mind a lot during the day, and then I'm like, oh, like I don't really want to use my brain anymore. And I miss on things sometimes because I'm just like, ugh, like But I try to collab as much as I can. I definitely try to show up into other people's streams as much, and I know you do too. Just continue to do stuff like that, and be patient as well. Not everybody has the same barometer of speed of things happening. It just happens over time, and consistency definitely. I agree. Having that consistent schedule that I used to have definitely helped me out a lot. And people still show up to my Sunday streams because they know that I'm going to be here at that specific time. And obviously, I don't have the Saturday streams anymore. And when I do stream during the week, people still show up because they're just loving. This community is very loving and giving, and I'm
Yeah.
really, really, really honored to be part of it.
The Two Airs community is legendary already.
It is definitely. Well, man, that is all I have. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that's about it, man. I had a good time. This is very cool. I hope to eventually make my way back to the show again.
Definitely. This will not be the last time. We had other questions, but I know that, it's getting kind of late for you. You have the woman, you have life. I
Good time.
appreciate you so much. I know we've been trying to get this show kind of scheduled for a little bit. I'm happy, and it's pretty cool that we got to do it live on Twitch.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And we'll have this up on the YouTube at some point. I think we have to wait 24 hours to upload it to YouTube because that's the, whatever affiliate agreement we have.
That's the Twitch way.
I definitely appreciate you, EA512. If you guys don't know who he is, somebody give him a shout out in the channel. Go give him some love. Please give him a follow. By the way, 1-800-273-8255. If you guys are, having bad thoughts in your mind, that is the National Suicide Hotline. We also have a Twitch channel that you can come to and, come give love. Come get love if you need it. Our community is amazing. !Discord. You can run that command even when I'm not here streaming. There's a lot of great people in there as well. I mean, we're not professionals, like I said. Definitely call that number if you need help. But you could, we have an amazing community, like EA just said, that you could come to when you do have, just need somebody to talk to, somebody to love on. We appreciate you, EA512. Like I said, that's not the last. This is not the last one, but it was the first one, and we had a great time.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I had a great time. Appreciate everybody who stuck around. Lamar Ness asking questions. Frosty Freak, thank you for your input, everybody. Mar Pizza, thank you. Hope everybody has a great night.